Good morning, everybody. Non Sequiturrian here. I wanted to talk about a few of my favorite shows and why they are my favorite shows. So, first up, we have Death Note. Wonderful show. We'll get into why in a moment. Then Chuck. Chuck, oh yeah, poster too today, is also one of my favorites. Adventure Time with Finn and Jake. We've got Firefly with Captain Malcolm Reynolds and the crew of the Serenity. We have Justified. Ooh, yeah. We've got Cowboy Bebop. What? We've got Babylon 5. And we, of course, have Highlander. Oot. Let's put these back. Ah, damn. It's so heavy. Ah. So, all those shows have one thing in common that I truly love in all of my TV: a great soundtrack. Adventure Time consistently has new songs, new types of sing along things. Just, it keeps everything fun and it keeps it lighthearted and it feels childish. Even though some of the themes in the show are probably not something you want to show to your 5-year-old or hell, even your 10-year-old sometimes. And then Death Note. The starting and the themes. When you start it off, it's fantastic, and when it ends, it's fantastic. And then halfway through the season, it changes the music because the whole tone of the show has changed, and you can tell just from listening to which opening you're getting who's going to be the important character, who's going to be the main antagonist. Light. Light Yagami is the hero of that show, too. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. L was the villain. Nier was the villain. Light Yagami is the damned hero. Kira killed everyone. Chuck. Some common schlub like you or me gets a damn supercomputer embedded into his brain, and for 5 seasons we have fun with probably the greatest musical soundtrack on TV. Literally close to 200 songs that I have on my playlist, all because of Chuck. I would have never heard of some of these bands had it not been for him. From Frightened Rabbit to, oh God, hell, even the Arctic Monkeys I hadn't heard of before I watched Chuck. And they were kind of popular. But it also made me appreciate some really old stuff that I already liked, but hadn't been listening to as much, like Rush. Even though I hate that song Tom Sawyer because it's overplayed, I've started listening to a lot more, like Free Will. Fantastic song by Rush if you've never heard it. Then we've got Firefly. The iconic opening song, just awesome. And everything from the battles to them just floating in space is underscored by the perfect sounds for the moment. It makes you understand what's going on. It makes you feel what the characters are feeling. Same thing with Justified. It was a really weird move for them to go with the whole like bluegrass rap mix at the beginning, but it was really interesting, and it really set the tone for the show. How it's a very poor rural white community, and they do both things. They listen to rap, they listen to bluegrass, and it's interesting how throughout the Justice always has the music matching what's going on. Cowboy Bebop. If y'all don't like jazz, Cowboy Bebop will give you an appreciation of jazz you never thought you could have. Seriously. You should go out, buy it if you don't have it. Even if you don't like anime, I guarantee this is one you will probably like if you like any sort of space film. If you liked Firefly, you'll like Cowboy Bebop. I almost guarantee it. Oh, and then I showed off, Babylon 5. Now, the soundtrack is gripping and it's right for the moment. I won't say that it's one that you should listen to, but the background music is always something that keeps everything going. And the episode with the Baptist minister, Ain't No Hiding Place, is one of the greatest renditions of the song ever inside of Babylon 5. And finally, Highlander, Who Wants to Live Forever, and many other classic rock songs throughout. Now, I bring up all these as my favorite shows, and they're from a pretty wide variety of backgrounds. Some are anime, one's a spy show, sci-fi, fantasy, a law show, an immortal show about a guy just chopping off people's heads. And they all have action, and they all have adventure, and they've all got something that's gripping in and of itself. But there's lots of shows that do that. What sets these apart is they make sure that the background sound matches what should be going on. One reason small channels won't do as well. I can't do video editing. I don't care. I'm not trying to do as well. But you notice when you listen to the background of someone else's videos who is good at editing, even if it's PewDiePie, it's interesting what they've got going on in the back. Even from his autistic screaming, or Undoomed constantly has a violin going in the back, or Bearing constantly has something going on. And there's a reason you watch them, and why you agree with their opinions or don't, if that's the case. The whole thing is you're gripped by what they're saying, but then everything else matches what it should match. Everything else keeps you going, keeps you interested. And that's what these shows all have in common. They keep you gripped and interested. Now, I won't say that every show I love has the greatest soundtrack or does the greatest things with their sound. I like House. I like Dexter. Neither one of them have, anything that I care about in the background for sound. Nothing's gripping. Nothing's making me enjoy the show more. It's just something I'm watching. Same thing with South Park. Although, I can't say that entirely. They did kind of force Primus on the entire population. It's... What I'm really trying to go for here is it's important to have good sound. The music makes or breaks a show. And hell, the music makes or breaks a game sometimes. But as for shows, look at what happened with Marco Polo. It's a gripping thing. It had all the things that everyone said it needed. It had violence, it had nudity, it had grandiose historical perspective. But it flops because no one's engaged. It's really hard to stay engaged with that show. But one thing that music does is it focuses your mind. If you're hearing the background music and you like it, you're going to keep watching. It's an important thing for everything. I know I'm breathing heavily. I'm like a fat fuck. And I am. That's why I'm losing weight. But overall, think about your favorite things. Like your favorite shows, your favorite movies, your favorite video games. Think back on it. Think, was the soundtrack engaging? Was it something I even thought about? And most of the time you don't even think about it, but go back and look at which ones you played the most. I guarantee they have some sort of background music, something to keep you engaged as the audience. It's a really cool psychological trick. It's the reason why when you go to a psychologist or psychiatrist, they often have white noise machines, because that background sound keeps you focused, keeps you from feeling fear, keeps you from other things. Whereas you play something like, let's see, what was a good horror game? I don't know if there are any. Let's go with Doom. Doom is an awesome horror game. It's a horror shooter. I loved it. And part of what makes it so good, that heavy rock out soundtrack. I mean, even Drawn to Death, which I don't play as much as I should, is awesome. It has a constant punk track to it. Everything you're doing. Plus, who can forget the Patriot Act? Mark is fucking great. If you don't know what the Patriot Act is, look it up on YouTube. Someone's recorded it. It is a fantastic gun. David Yaffe is a genius in and of his own right. And I ramble a lot, hence non sequiturian. I non sequitur from one topic to the next. This is just a way for me to get out my thoughts on things. And I really do like talking. I mean, it's fun. So, still non sequituring here. But everything I said about The Last Jedi, I've had the discussion with, a few friends here and there. I've probably reached like 20 people with my opinion that The Last Jedi sucked. By posting on YouTube, I reached 50 more people who I'd never talked to in my life. That's impressive. And I gained a subscriber out of it. So, hi, subscriber. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I really do like talking. And there's things I want to talk about, and there's things maybe you want to hear talked about. Maybe you have an opinion on, maybe you want to see what someone else's is. Leave me comments. Tell me, hey, you suck. Hey, you're an awful person. Or, hey, I really like what you had to say on this. Even if you are a rambling asshole. But, yeah. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the video games I like. And then we'll go back and do another topic that interests me at some point. But for the shows I like, those are all great shows, in and of their own right. If you want a more in-depth review of any of them, I can tell you. And if you just want to watch something at some point, and you don't know what to pick out, if they're on Netflix, watch them. If they're on Hulu, watch them. If you see them at your local Walmart for $5 or $10, pick them up. They're great. Hell, I'd pick them up for $30 a piece. Not all of them for $30 a piece. Some of them. But that's all I have to say today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy the video, like it. If you want to see more crap of mine, subscribe. Other than that, have a nice day. Peace out.